These highlights from the Probate podcast will help you navigate life transitions like a pro. From senior living to estate planning to probate, you'll learn incredibly useful tips. Be sure to like and subscribe to hear more from Sherry Lund and her expert guests.
The other thing that I've learned that we haven't talked about, but you've kind of skirted around, I think our audience would benefit in knowing that there are residential homes. So they don't always have the big signs out front that say assisted living or memory care or something like that. Sometimes these homes are in a neighborhood and we may drive by them every day. They are a residential home and they're specialized. Some of them can be specialized for people with ALS or for people with MS or whatever. Can you talk a little bit about and educate us on a residential home?
I'm really glad you brought that up, actually. You're right. Residential care homes are a fantastic option for a lot of people. And I think when we talked about the social model versus the care model, the residential homes are often the best designed to deliver the care model. I always kind of back up and do, what does a day in the life look like? So when you think about somebody who is bedbound, who needs to be fed, who needs to be changed, or maybe it's not that bad, but it's still headed in that direction. If that were you, would you want to have somebody pop in at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, because that's what's on the schedule, and just pop in? Or do you want somebody who's going to hear you if you're grunting or if you're struggling, or maybe if there's any other signs that you need help? And I just really think that for me personally, being in that type of care setting where somebody is really, really attuned to my needs, I think that's going to be the more appropriate way for somebody who truly needs care.
In those houses, as I understand them, they're smaller. The staff ratio to patients is smaller.
Right.
They can have some social aspects. So I'm not plugging anyone in
Yeah,
particular.
absolutely.
It's just a model that I was not familiar with before. I thought we had to choose from these big institutional kind of settings. And so I was pleasantly surprised to hear about these smaller options.
Yeah. And actually, in the area that I serve between Willis and Cypress and a little bit of Northwest Houston, there's over 200 licensed facilities just in that little area. And the majority of them are those small places. And you're right, most of them are unmarked and
But they're
don't
licensed, they're
advertise.
fully legal, they've got oversight from the state.
Yes. Let me talk a little bit about that because they are licensed as a type B facility, which is also how most assisted livings are licensed. So they actually have the
Okay.
same licensure as those big places, but they do deliver care a bit differently. Now, unlicensed doesn't necessarily mean illegal. Unlicensed homes are okay as long as they are, I think it's 4 people or less. I always forget if 3 is the cutoff or 4. But 4 people or less. And then they do have some fire marshal restrictions and things like that. So they do have to be inspected by the fire marshal and they have to go through certain levels of oversight. However, they don't have the same oversight as a place that's licensed. So the bulk of who I work with are licensed facilities, just because I'm a big fan of oversight. But that being said, there are some really great unlicensed facilities out there that are definitely worth consideration. You just really have to know what you're walking into. And while we're on the subject of licensing, let me get on my soapbox for a minute here, real quick. Any place that you are considering for your loved one, you need to either know if they're licensed or unlicensed. And then if you're licensed, you need to see the licensing report. I share the licensing report with every single one of my clients. And every now and then there might be a blip, a thing that's come up in the licensing of a facility. And rather than hiding under my desk and saying, oh, we can't go there or whatever, I'm actually going to talk to the executive director of that facility, find out exactly what happened. And if it passes the smell test for me, then I will share what was told to me and I'll facilitate a conversation between my clients and that facility because we really do need to be open and aware of the regulatory background of each facility that we think about placing our people at.
Right. Right.
To catch the full episode and explore more resources from the Probate podcast, check the links in the description and be sure to subscribe for more tips each week.